Well, you all keep sending us the greatest pictures of people spreading joy here in the Tennessee Valley. This is Aaliyah enjoying some Gerber Puffs, a baby favorite that was sent to us by her great-grandmother Frances. And Stephanie from Athens sent us a picture of her daughter Ariana doing her part to spread some smiles. And last but not least, Claire from Muscle Shoals sent us a picture of Chandler and Ryder enjoying the dog days of summer. We want to see what makes you smile. Text us your pictures of people spreading joy so we can put them on air and online. All you need to do is send them to 256-382-2692. Again, that number 256-382-2692. And remember, folks, keep spreading smiles.